us that we are at stage 6, paragraph page 491. Okay, and our last
Yes.
headword was sunset, newer type of lesson. Okay, so let's start with our revision. Ready?
Okay.
Okay, here we go. First question. What's the best way to gain friends? What's the best way to gain friends? The best way
The
to
best
gain
way to
friends
gain
is to
friends
be
is
nice
to be
to
nice
people.
to people.
Megan, how long does it take the average student to gain a degree at university in your country? How long does it take the average student to gain a degree at university in your country? It takes
It
the
takes
average
the
student
average
about
student about 4 years
to
to
gain a degree
gain a degree
at
at the
university in my
university
country.
in my country.
As regards learning a language, would you gain anything by going to the country where it was spoken? As regards learning a language, would you gain anything by going to the country where it was spoken? Yes. As
Yes.
regards
As
learning a
regards
language,
learning a
I
language,
gain
I
something
gain
by
something
going to the
by
country
going to the
where
country
it was
where
spoken.
it was spoken
Why? Why? Because
because
I'd be able,
I I I speak I
I'd be able
I'd be
to
able
speak the
to speak
language
the
every
language
day.
every day.
Megan, are there any marks on these walls? Are there any marks on these walls? Yes or no?
Yes,
There are some
there are
marks
some
on
marks
those walls.
on those walls.
What kind of marks are they? What kind of marks are they? They're NC
There are
marks.
NC marks.
Very good. Who marks your dictations? Who mark your dictations? I mark
I
my
mark
dictations
my
myself.
dictations myself.
Very good. How many marks did you get in your last English exam? How many marks did you get in your last English exam? I got
I got
100 marks
100 marks
out of
for
100
part of 100
in my last
in my
English
last
exam.
English exam.
Which petrol company do you think has the most well-known trademark? Which petrol company do you think is the most well-known trademark? I think
I think I think Shell
has the most
was
well-known
the
trademark.
most well-known trademark.
Very good. What part of the book is this? What part of the book is this? It's the bottom
It's the bottom
or the
of
base
or the
of
base
the book.
of the book.
What do you consider to be the basis of a good life? What do you consider to be the basis of a good life? I consider
I consider I consider good health
to be
is
the
to
basis
be the
of a
basis
good life.
of a good life.
Is it normal for language learners to continue making basic grammatical mistakes even though they know the rules? Is it normal for language learners to continue making basic grammatical mistakes even though they know the rules? Yes, it's
Yes,
normal
it's
for
normal
language
for
learners
language
to
learners
continue
to
making
continue making
basic
the
grammatical
basic
mistakes
grammatical mistakes,
even though they
even
know the
though they
rules.
know the rules.
What do you think is basically the difference between your own language and English? What do you think is basically the difference between your own language and English? I think that
I think that
basically the difference
basically the
between
difference
my
between
own
my
language
own
and
language
English
and
is
English is grammar.
very good. Okay, when you stay at a hotel for one night, does the price you pay usually include breakfast? When you stay at a hotel for one night, does the price you pay usually include breakfast? Yes or no?
Yes,
When you stay
when
at
you
a
stay at
hotel
the
for
hotel
one night,
for
the
one night,
price you
the
pay
price you pay
usually includes
usually
breakfast.
includes breakfast.
Very good. What do we use to clean our shoes with? What do we use to clean our shoes with? We use a
We
shoe
use
brush
a shoe
to
brush
clean
to
our shoes
clean
with.
our shoes with.
What other kinds of brushes are there? What other kinds of brushes are there? There are
There are
hairbrushes,
hairbrushes,
toothbrushes,
toothbrushes,
paintbrushes, etc.
paintbrushes, etc.
Reggie, do you like to watch boxing? Do you like to watch boxing? Yes or no?
No,
I
I
don't
don't.
like
I don't like
to watch boxing.
watch boxing
Why not? Why not? Because?
because they are rough sports.
Very good. What type of film do you watch most? What type of film do you watch most? I watch
I watch I watch comedies
the most.
the most.
Can you type? Can you type? Yes or no?
Yes, I
I
can
can type.
type
How many words a minute? How many words a minute? About 60
about
words a
60
minute.
words a minute.
Very good. Okay. Have you met me on many previous occasions? Have you met me on many previous occasions? Yes, I've
Yes,
met you
I've met
on
you
many
on
previous
many
occasions.
previous occasions.
Did you have any previous experience of the Callan method before you came here? Did you have any previous experience of the Callan method before you came here? Yes or no?
No,
I
I,
didn't have
I didn't
any
have
previous
any
experience
previous
of the
experience
Callan
of
method
the Callan method
before I came here.
before I came here.
Why do people often make videos of special occasions like weddings? Why do people often make videos of special occasions like weddings? People often
People
make videos
often make
of
videos
special
of
occasions
special
like
occasions
weddings
like
so that
weddings
they
so
can
that they
remember
can
them better.
remember them better.
Very good. What do we mean by a street plan of a town? What do we mean by a street plan of a town? By a street plan
By a
of a
street plan
town,
of our
we
town,
mean a map
we need a map
showing the streets
showing the
of the
streets
town
of the
and
town
their
and
names.
their names.
Do you usually write your plans in a diary? Do you usually write your plans in a diary? Yes or no?
Yes,
I
I
usually
usually
write my
write
plans
my
in a
plans
diary.
in the diary.
Reggie, do you think it's a good idea for teenagers to plan their future while still at school? Do you think it's a good idea for teenagers to plan their future while still at school? Yes or no?
Yes,
I think
I
it's a
think
good
it's a
idea
good
for
idea
teenagers
for
to
teenagers
plan their
to
futures
plan their
while
futures
still at school.
while still at school
Why? Why? Because
because they have they have many times a lot.
they will have
They will
longer
have
time to
longer
think.
time to think.
Very good. Do you think a young person should be allowed to plan their own future without the interference of their parents? Do you think a young person should be allowed to plan their own future without the interference of their parents? Yes or no?
No, I
I
don't
don't think
think
a young person
a young
should be
person
allowed
should be
to
allowed
plan their
to
own
plan
future
their own future
without the
without the
interference of their
interference of
parents.
their parents
Why not? Why not? Because
because they are young to think their future
to plan their future.
to plan their future
Very good.
themselves.
Very good. What are the two basic types of auxiliary verb in English? What are the two basic types of auxiliary verb in English? The two basic
The two
types
basic
of
types of
auxiliary verbs
auxiliary
in
verbs
English
in
are
English
primary
are primary
auxiliaries and
auxiliaries
modal
and
auxiliaries.
modal auxiliaries.
Very good. What are the primary auxiliaries? What are the primary auxiliaries? The primary
The primary
auxiliaries are the
auxiliaries
verbs
are
be,
the verbs
have,
be,
and do.
have, and do.
Very good. When do we use the auxiliary be? When do we use the auxiliary be? We use
We
the
use
auxiliary
the
be
auxiliary
to
be
make the
to make
continuous
the
tenses
continuous
and the
tenses
passive
and the
voice.
passive voice.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. I am speaking
I am
English
speaking
now.
English now.
This book was printed
This book was
in
printed
England.
in England.
Very good. When do we use the auxiliary have? When do we use the auxiliary have? We use
We
the
use
auxiliary
the
have
auxiliary
for
have
the perfect
for the
tenses.
perfect tenses.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. He has gone
He has
to
gone
Scotland.
to Scotland.
Very good. When do we use the auxiliary do? When do we use the auxiliary do? We use
We
the
use
auxiliary
the
do
auxiliary
for
do
the present
for the
simple
present
and
simple
past simple.
and past simple.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. I don't speak
I don't
Spanish.
speak Spanish.
Did she eat the
Did
pasta?
she eat the pasta?
Very good. What are the 10 common models? What are the 10 common models? The 10 common
The 10
models
common
are
models
can,
are
could,
can,
will,
could,
would,
will,
may,
would,
might,
may,
shall,
might,
should,
shall,
must,
could,
and ought.
must, and ought.
What ideas do models normally express? What ideas do models normally express? Models normally
Models
express
normally express
ideas about
ideas
necessity
about necessity
or possibility.
or a possibility.
Very good. Okay, now I will give you a sentence, and you say a sentence with the same meaning but with a model.
Mhm.
Okay. Number one,
Okay.
John is able to speak French. John is able to speak French. John can
John
speak
can
French.
speak French.
Perhaps he works in a bank. Perhaps he works in a bank. He might work
He might
in a
work
bank.
in a bank.
It is necessary for me to go to bed now. It is necessary for me to go to bed now. I must go
I
to
must
bed
go
now.
to bed now.
You are not allowed to smoke in this building. You are not allowed to smoke in this building. You mustn't smoke
You mustn't
in this
smoke
building.
in this building.
Very good. What do we put after a model? What do we put after a model? We put
We
the
put
infinitive
the
without
infinitive
to
without
after
to
a model.
after a model.
But give me an example. Give me an example, please. I must send
I must
this
send
email today.
this email today.
Which model is the only exception to this rule? Which model is the only exception to this rule? Ought is
Odd
the only
is the
exception
only
to this rule.
exception
One more.
to
Ought is
odd
the only
is the only
exception
exception
exception to this rule.
to this rule.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. I ought to see
I
a
ought to
doctor.
see a doctor.
Very good. What does the word set mean in Japanese? What does the word set mean in Japanese? The word set
The word
means
set means oku in
in Japan.
Japanese.
Very good. How long does the time set for a game of football? How long is the time set for a game of football? The time set
The time
for a
set
game of
or a
football
game of
is
football
90
is
minutes.
90
That
minutes.
is
That
45
is
minutes
45
each
minutes
way.
each way.
Very good. What kind of life do you think is better? A life where you have a set time for doing everything, such as eating, sleeping, etc., or a life where you do these things whenever you want? What kind of life do you think is better? A life where you have a set time for doing everything, such as eating, sleeping, etc., or a life where you do these things whenever you want? So, whenever you want or set time?
So
Set time or
I said
whenever?
I said time.
Set time. Well, I think a life
I think alive
where you have a
where
set
you have
time
a set
for
time
doing everything,
for doing
such
everything,
as eating,
such as
sleeping,
eating,
etc.,
sleeping, etc.
is better than a life
It's better than alive.
where you do
Where
things,
do things?
where you do things
Where do you things?
whenever you want.
Whenever you want.
Very good. What did I set down on the table when I came into the room at the beginning of the lesson? What did I set down on the table when I came into the room at the beginning of the lesson? You set your book
You set your
down
book down
on the table
on the
when you
table
came
when you
into the
came
room
into the
at the
room
beginning of
at
the
the
lesson.
beginning of the lesson.
If your watch isn't showing the right time, what do you have to do? If your watch isn't showing the right time, what do you have to do? If my
If my
watch
watch
isn't showing
isn't
the right
showing
time,
the right
I
time,
have to
I
set
have
it
to
right.
set it right.
Very good. What time is sunrise at the moment? What time is sunrise at the moment? Sunrise is at
Sunrise is
about
at about 4 a.m.
at the moment.
at the moment.
And what time is sunset? What time is sunset? Sunset is at
Sunset
about
is at about 6 p.m.
at the moment.
at the moment.
Very good. Okay, and that's the end of our revision. Very good. Let's
Okay.
have new work. Okay, so repeat duty,
Duty,
society,
society,
on duty,
on duty,
off duty,
of duty,
driver,
driver,
fine.
fine.
Very good. Okay, listen. Duty means responsibility. For example, as a teacher, it's my responsibility to teach, or it's my duty to teach. Duty also means a tax paid to the government, especially on things that you bring on your country. Society is a noun. It means the people living in one place. For example, I consider the duty a person owes to the society in which they live is to be honest, hardworking, etc. When we say on duty, it means working at a particular time. For example, I work from 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. Or we can say, I'm on duty from 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. Off duty is the opposite of on duty. For example, my work finishes at 2 p.m. Or I'm off duty after 2 p.m. Driver is a noun. It is a person who controls the car. Fine is a noun. It is the amount of money that you pay for breaking the law. For example, if I brought a foreign car into my country, I'd have to pay duty on it. If I didn't pay, they might make me pay a fine and even take the car away from me. Okay, so let's practice. What do you consider to be the duty a person owes to the society in which they live? What do you consider to be the duty a person owes to the society in which they live? I consider
I
the
consider
duty a
the
person
duty a
owes
person
to the
owes
society
to the
in which
society
they live
in which they
is to
live
be honest,
is to be honest,
hardworking, etc.
hardworking, etc.
What are the duties of a policeman? What are the duties of a policeman? The duties
The
of a
duties of
policeman
a
are
policeman
to give
are
people
to
help
give people help
and information,
and
catch
information
criminals,
at
etc.
criminal, etc.
Do policemen wear their uniforms when they're off duty? Do policemen wear their uniforms when they're off duty? No.
No,
Policemen don't
policemen
wear their
don't wear
uniforms
their
when
uniforms
they're off
when they
duty.
are off duty.
They only wear them
They only wear
when
them
they're on
when they
duty.
are on duty.
Where if you brought a foreign car into your country, would you have to pay duty on it? If you brought a foreign car into your country, would you have to pay duty on it? Yes or no?
Yes,
If I brought
if
a
I
foreign
brought a
car
foreign
into
car
my country,
into my
I'd
country,
have to pay
I'd
duty
have
on
to
it.
pay duty on it.
Right? And if you didn't pay, what did happen? And if you didn't pay, what did happen? If I didn't
If I
pay,
didn't
they
pay,
might make
they
me
might make
pay a
me
fine
pay a
and
fine
even take
and
the
even
car
take the car
away from me.
away from me.
Very good. Next, repeat various.
Barriers.
Very good. Okay, listen. The word various is an adjective. It means different. For example, there are different ways of learning a language, or there are various ways of learning a language. Let's practice. What are the various ways of learning a language? What are the various ways of learning a language? The various
The
ways
various
of
ways
learning a
of
language
learning a
are
language
at school,
at school,
are at school
at or are at school
with a teacher,
with a teacher,
going to the country
going to the
where the
country
language is
where the
spoken,
language is spoken,
practicing with a friend,
practicing with a friend,
listening to the radio,
listening to the
watching
radio,
TV,
watching TV,
etc.
etc.
Very good. Next, repeat entertainment.
as a payment.
Very good. Okay, listen. The word entertainment is a noun. It means things such as films, television, performances, etc., that are intended to amuse or interest people. For example, there's a lot of entertainment for teenagers in my hometown, like the cinema, theater, games, etc. Let's practice. Is there much entertainment for teenagers in your hometown? Is there much entertainment for teenagers in your hometown? Yes or no?
Yes,
There is a lot
there is a
of
lot
entertainment
of
for
entertainment
teenagers
for
in my
teenagers in
hometown.
my hometown.
Very good. Next, repeat weight.
Weight
Equal.
equal.
Very good. Okay, listen. So, weight is a noun. Weight means how heavy something is when you measure it. For example, the average weight of a baby at birth is just over 7 pounds. Equal is an adjective. It means the same in size, the same in number, same in amount, value, weight, etc. For example, this book, okay, so this book is as heavy as this book. So the weight of these two books is about equal. Okay, let's practice. Is the weight of these two books about equal? Is the weight of these two books about equal? Yes, the weight
Yes, the
of those
weight
two
of
books
those two books
are about
are
equal.
about equal.
Very good. Okay, next repeat. Operate.
Operate,
Operation.
operation.
Very good. Okay, listen. Operate is a verb. It means to control a machine or equipment. For example, the driver controls the car, or the driver operates the car. Operation is a noun. It is a medical process in which doctors cut a body open in order to repair, remove, or replace an unhealthy or damaged part. For example, I've never had an operation in hospital. Let's practice. Would you find it interesting to operate a factory machine? Would you find it interesting to operate a factory machine? Yes or no?
No,
I wouldn't find it
I wouldn't
interesting
find it
to
interesting
operate a
to
factory
operate a
machine.
factory machine
Why not? Why not? Because
because maybe I can't understand
the
the
procedure.
procedure.
Very good. But there's instruction. Okay, next. Have you ever had an operation in hospital? Have you ever had an operation in hospital? Yes or no?
Yes,
I've had an
I've had
operation
an
in
operation
hospital.
in hospital.
Very good. Okay, next repeat. By.
By
By the time.
by the time.
Very good. Okay, listen. When we are speaking about time, the word by means at some point before or not later than by. For example, I will be home by midnight. It means that I will arrive home at some point before midnight, or possibly at midnight, but certainly not later than midnight. When we say by the time, it means at the time or when. Let's practice. Give me a sentence containing the words by the time. Give me a sentence containing the words by the time, please. By the time
By the
she gets
time
here,
she gets here,
dinner will be ready.
we'll be ready.
What does by the time mean in that sentence? What does by the time mean in that sentence? By the time
By the
in that
time
sentence
in that
means
sentence
at
means
some point
at some
between
point
now
between
and when
now
she gets
and when
here.
she gets here.
Very good. By the time you are 90 years old, do you suppose your hair will be gray? By the time you are 90 years old, do you suppose your hair will be gray? Yes. By the
Yes,
time
by the
I'm 90
time
years
I'm
old,
19 years
I
old,
suppose my
I
hair
suppose my
will
hair
be gray.
will be gray.
Will your English have improved by this time next month? Will your English have improved by this time next month? Yes, my
Yes,
English
my
will
English
have
will
improved
have
by
improved
this time
by
next
this
month.
time next month.
Very good. Okay, so now let's move on to reading.
Okay,
Okay, so our reading is at page 5, paragraph page 372. Last headword was true. Okay, please start at headword maintain.